What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another update. One new name to add to the mix, or should I say one old name that's been brought up in this transfer window that we have been linked to in the past. And he goes by the name of Milenkovic, a star for Serbia last night in England 1-0 win. The Bleacher Report says that they understand that Tottenham are keeping a close eye on Serbia international Nikola Milenkovic. West Ham are also admirers too, with Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Newcastle and Fulham monitoring the situation as well. A player that we have been linked to, I think, multiple times in the past, and he's always ended up signing new contracts at Fiorentina. But what do you make out of this one?
Yeah, I don't think he's what Tottenham were looking for at the moment. I think he's a good defender, and I think in his own right, he can maybe make a step up from Fiorentina, albeit they have, I think, made 2 finals in a row, haven't they, in the Europa Conference League?
Yeah.
So
Lost both of them, though.
Did lose both of them, but still decent to get to 2 consecutive finals. But obviously for Serbia, watching him yesterday playing in a back crease, clearly very tall defender, competent defender. He actually competed really well with Harry Kane throughout the game, so got a fair play to him. But I think Tottenham, the way we're trying to play now, I don't think it leaves space for a big centre-back like Milenkovic, who I don't think has maybe the pace in behind we're looking for. And I don't think on the ball as well, he's kind of has the bravery and the quality on the ball that the defenders that we're looking at or should be looking at right now. And we have Dragoshin, who can play right centre-back as backup to Romero. So unless we're signing him to left centre-back, which I don't think makes much sense, I just don't see it being a signing that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Big money as well.
To be honest, I think it's just they've seen him have a good performance last night and they're just linking him with us just for willy-nilly, just to make a story out of nothing, to be honest. That's what I think it is.
And we're going to report on it.
Yeah, we'll report on everything that does the rounds. But that is the new situation with Nikola Milenkovic. Let's talk about the right-back situation. Fabrizio Romano said that Tottenham are showing an interest in Monaco's right-back Vanderson, one of the options if Emerson is to leave the club. Not an easy one, as Monaco want over €40 million fee, but Spurs appreciate him. I mean, we've spoken about him a bit over the last couple of weeks, various different sources linking us to Vanderson, including a tier 1 source in Bruno Andrade out in Brazil. I've said many a time, he needs to be the competition for Pedro Porro. I think both of them are such top quality right backs. It gives us the opportunity to rotate and have some serious competition on that right hand side.
Yeah, but 40 million is a big outlay for a player who's only a competition at right back. We've got a good right back there. I'm not saying don't do it. I think in a perfect world, I think we should be spending that amount of money on competition for places in the squad if we feel like that that's what we need to do. But knowing, this summer, I think, I'm not saying money's going to be tight. I do think we have money, but are we going to spend 40 million euros on him and then also spend big on a striker, big on a winger, big on a number 6 as well? Like, there's got to be a limit to what we're going to do. So I can't see us spending 40 million euros on Vanderson and then spending over that amount of money on another 3 players. I think I don't know if we're going to do that.
Well, that's what we need to do to take us on to the next level.
But I'm just saying, I think
40 million euros is actually not such a big outlay. That's 33 million pounds.
Yeah, it's not. I think if we want to be a top club, it's what we should be doing. But I just know Tottenham, and I know that if we're spending 30 million on him, right, and all of a sudden we want to spend over 40 to 50 million, maybe more, on a number 6, then that's already getting close to 100 million. Then you want to spend big on maybe a striker, that's maybe 150 million, and big on a winger, that's 200 million. Are we really going to spend 200 million this summer? I don't know. I question it, and I just worry that if we spend big on Vanderson, 40 million, that could justify us not going big on a more needed position. That's all I'm saying. Look, if we spend big money on him, I'm not going to sit and say I'm unhappy about it. I am happy about it because it improves the quality of the squad, adds competition for places. It's a position that we do need, which is a backup right back. And if we're going for a quality like Vanderson, that does signal some ambition. I just don't want to be sitting here at the end of the window having spent 40 million on Vanderson and we're getting Marcus Edwards up front and saying, we spent big there, we couldn't justify going big in a more needed position, in my opinion. That's all I'm going to say. But I'll be delighted if we get him in, and if we spend 40 million on him, then so be it. I think that's what's needed if we're going to close the gap in the top 3.
Exactly, that's the sticking point for me. It's just like we need this kind of competition all over the park, not just the right back. We need it in every single position. We've got it at right centre back. That's probably the only position in the squad where we do have that kind of caliber competition with Radu Dragusin and Cuti Romero. We need it in every single position. And if we want to go and fight the big clubs right at the top that Ange Postecoglou wants to do, we need to follow in the mould of the Man Cities, the Arsenals and Liverpools and the way they did their squad building. And this is the way they did it. And, Arsenal were able to spend copious amounts of money on, talent throughout the years without being in Europe or just being in the Europa League. So I don't understand why Spurs can't. Why can't we do that?
Well, you look at Arsenal and even not to an extent Man City, but like who's their left back? They got Zinchenko and it was
Yeah, but you're looking at their weakest part of the squad.
I'm just saying, you don't need. My point is, you don't need to spend 40 million on a backup right back to compete. Is my point. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I'm just saying it's not completely necessary when we've got more pressing issues. But again, if we do it, I'm all for it, and I'm happy to improve the quality of the squad. I'm happy for us to spend the money. I just don't want it to take away from more pressing issues. I don't want to be, watch us haggling over a deal for 5 million on a number 6 and then not get it over the line because we're haggling over a few million when we spend 40 million on a backup right back. That's all I'm trying.
Yeah, look, I completely get what you're saying, but this is the way that we need to go. It is the way that we need to go. And if we've only got a small budget to spend, I probably would spend it in other areas, but we shouldn't have a small budget to spend. That's my point. We should be acting like a big club, showing the revenues that we're bringing in every year from the stadium and stuff like that. Rocketed revenues from match day sales and match day income and everything like that. Yeah, we're not in Europe, and that's that last year, and we're only in Europa League this year, and obviously that's going to hurt us. But it hasn't seemed to hurt other clubs when they're in the same situation. So why is it going to hurt us?
But it says they want over 40 million. So. What if it's 50 million? Are we still going to go for it?
Probably not. But I think I like when clubs go, they want over 40 million. What's that, 41 million, 42 million? Like, when they say a price, surely it always just comes down to that price.
I don't know. Look, he's been a very good player for them last couple seasons, and he's still very young. So I think Monaco are usually quite good at selling as well. They usually get good prices. So I wouldn't expect them to be quite easy to deal with. But again, I'll be excited if he comes in, and let's hope we do get a deal for him. But let's just hope it doesn't detach from some more important deals that we still got to make.
Yeah. Romano also said that Emerson is expected to leave, with AC Milan being his priority, and Italian journalist Luca Bianchi says that Tottenham are close to agreeing a fee with AC Milan for the transfer as Emerson Royale. The player wants to join AC Milan and has already reached an agreement in principle with the club. An agreement worth 20 million euros could be reached this week. I think we've been hearing that for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of ironing out to do. I assume Spurs probably want maybe some add-ons, want a few extra million. AC Milan want to keep their costs down. I do feel like there will be a compromise, although Spurs usually don't compromise too much in these situations. But I think when the player wants to move, they want the move. I think Tottenham do want to sell. Usually when those things line up, usually a deal gets done.
With Emerson leaving and Jed Spence leaving, like they're the two hot topics of exits that are imminently going to happen outside of the club. Does the right back situation not become one of the priorities then, like a real priority? And if we don't push the boat out and get a good player, aren't we running the risk of losing a bit of money and trying to upgrade him in the next few years?
Don't we run the risk of losing a bit of money?
Like if we bring in a Kyle Walker-Peters, for example, or a different right back, we know that's not good. That's essentially only going to be a backup, or not good enough to challenge Pedro Porro. Isn't that just wasted money then? And then in a few years we're going to look to sell him and upgrade him anyway.
Depends who we get in. Maybe we get in an Archie Gray. I don't know, and then and he can also depends who we get. As I say, I think a backup right back, is not what's going to make or break you challenging for a title, in my opinion. Yes, it definitely helps increase the squad. Who's Liverpool's backup right back to Trent? It was Conor Bradley. They had a guy from the youth system come through, and obviously he's got a lot of quality, but they didn't have to spend loads of money to find a replacement there. Like, we can find creative solutions. I'm not sitting here saying we shouldn't sign Vanderson for big money as competition from Porro. I'm just saying, for me, a backup right back isn't the most pressing issue in the squad, even if Emerson and Jed Spence do go, in my opinion.
Well,
it's important. It's not important. It's just not the most important, and it doesn't need. I don't think it requires big money. But if we've identified Vanderson, and he's going to cost that much, and we think, look, this is the guy that him and Porro can compete for the next 5 years to come, or even if maybe it even gives a situation where if Porro wants to leave, Vanderson could just step in, and we have that replacement there. Then I understand the logic, but I don't think we need to spend over 40 million on him, essentially.
All right, well, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Those are the updates for today. Hopefully, we'll get some more transfer rumours over the course of the day, but hopefully, definitely over the course of the week. I mean, it's been a bit of a slow kind of transfer update since the Euros have started, and it seems just the same names being regurgitated at the moment. But let's hope some new names pop up very soon. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.